let's start with our financial management classes. As before we start with any paper for that matter, we need to understand what we are going to learn and why we are going to learn that. The whats and whys are more important than hows in an examination, specifically for a professional qualification like ACCA. It's not just important for you to know what exactly are we doing, but you are also expected to know why are you doing that, the reason behind that, and then you need to know how to do that particular sum, right? So for example, if there is a question in your paper, it's not just enough for you to solve that question and get 8 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 from that particular question. It's more important for you to know why that particular question is solved in that particular manner. What is the logical reasoning behind that particular solution? That is what is more important for you in your future as you move ahead and become an ACCA qualified professional. And when you enter into your job market or when you start your own consultancy firms, people appraise you based upon your knowledge, not just based upon your marks that you have scored in your examinations. So in order to get a better clarity about this particular paper, first of all, what exactly are we going to learn in financial management? Now, as we can see, financial management is just a two-word combination. It is nothing but management of our finances, right? So in simple language, what are we doing with our money? That is what financial management is all about. And that single word can kind of comprehensively cover your entire syllabus, to be very honest with you guys. So financial management is all about just how to manage my finance, how to manage my funds, how to manage my money. That is what this financial management topic is all about, right? So now, sir, if it is so simple, why are we having a complete paper on that? Why are we having an advanced financial management P4 paper for that? So what are the complexities involved in this? See, it's not as easy as we make it sound, right? So it's not just financing of, it's not just management of your money. Ultimately, yes, it is, but there are various aspects that are covered here. What are the various aspects covered? I'll tell you in simple language. See, for example, today you are starting an organization. Today you are starting one of your business. So when you start your business, you need to gather funds from various sources. You need to issue equity shares. You can issue preference shares. You can issue debentures. You can issue loan notes. You can get borrowings from banks. You can borrow money from institutes like Muthoot Finance or else any other financial institution. You can get loans from your friends and family, right? So there are various sources of funds that are available for you. Which source shall you pick? That is the first question. Sources of funds. From where are we going to get our money from? Second one, what are we going to do with that particular money? Like once you raise your money, where are you going to invest that? In which kind of assets do you invest that? Which projects will you invest? If there are multiple projects, which one will you choose? How will you choose that particular project? On what basis did you choose that particular project? That is the second aspect. From where we are going to get our money? What are we going to do with that money? And the third one is basically, what is the return that we are going to generate for the people who gave you the money? For example, if there is an equity shareholder, so he gave you money and he purchased equity shares of your company. What are you going to pay him back? The dividend. If somebody purchased a debenture from your company and gave you money, so what are you going to pay him back? Interest. So for the sources of funds that we have generated, what is the return that we are going to issue to them? In another language, the dividend policy of the company, right? So sir, why not talking about interest? Because it is anyways fixed. When you issued a debenture, you will tell them that yes, 8% interest will be paid, 6% interest will be paid. So there is nothing much to discuss because it is an obligation for you and you have to make that payment. So there is nothing much from the company's perspective to decide on how to plan the funds. That is an obligation. But when it comes to shareholders dividend, there is a policy for the company because the company will declare the dividend whether it wants or not. And if they want to declare dividend, how much dividend they are going to declare, that is a decision taken by the company. So in simple language, financial management as a whole can be classified into three categories. One is sources of funds, from where are we going to get our money. Second one is what are we going to do with our money, that is where are we parking our funds or where are we investing our money. Then the third one is what are the dividend decisions that we are going to take. And then we have subsidiary components like foreign exchange, money markets, etc., which we'll discuss as we move forward, right? Now, I understood that you guys have got a overall knowledge about what financial management is all about. Now, let me talk about the examination pattern. Then we'll go to the index and then we'll look into the chapters that are covered and how we are going to address our classes and what we are going to discuss in detail. Now, your financial management examination is a typical fundamental level paper. So you have 100 marks, which is divided into 3 sections: section A, section B, and section C. You have 3 sections for your examination. Your section A will consist of 15 MCQs into 2 marks each, MCQ multiple choice questions, and I'll replace MCQs with objective questions. Why am I replacing MCQ with objective? Is when we were having paper based questions, it was only multiple choice, but when we switched to computer based examination, in place of MCQs, objective questions have started, and objective questions are basically like MCQs: fill in the blanks, match the followings, highlight the correct answer, choose the multiple response, choose which of the following options are correct, like multiple answers could be there, drag and drop answers are there. So there are various models of objective type of questions that are being tested. So I'll use the word objective questions. So 15 objective questions into 2 marks each, that will give you 30 marks. And then section B is a scenario based questions, wherein you will be given a situation, and from that situation 5 questions will be given. So it is 3 scenarios into 5 objective questions from each scenario into 2 marks each, that is 3 into 5 15, 15 into 2 30 marks again. And your section C will be essay based questions. I won't call it as essay because you are not going to write any essay questions in financial management. It is the constructive response questions, as we call it as constructive response questions. That means you need to design an answer, and you need to construct an answer and respond to that. Basically your essay type questions, wherein you need to work on a calculations, or else work on a given scenario and evaluate multiple projects and select which one is best, or else give a hedging strategy or a arbitrage strategy that is most suitable for that particular entity. We are going to discuss that as we move forward, right? So constructive response questions, usually you get 2 questions into 20 marks each, that will give you 40 marks. It is possible that sometimes they might change the paper for section C, like instead of 2 questions into 20, they can give 1 question for 15 marks and another for 25 marks. That's also possible, but that's very, very rare. We usually see 2 questions into 20 marks wala pattern. So section A and section B objective, section C constructive response, 15 into 2 30, 5 into 3 into 2 30, and then 2 into 20 40 marks. So that gives you total 100 marks examination for your ACCA F9 paper. Then once we are done with the examination pattern, now that you guys understood what is the pattern for your examination, now the next step for us before we start our syllabus is to know what are the topics that are covered in this particular paper. So you can see I have already created the index for you guys. We have a total of 20 chapters in our syllabus, and out of this 20 chapters I can actually kind of comprehend this into 6 blocks. This 20 chapter syllabus can be comprehensively categorized into 6 blocks of your syllabus. So I'll just give you the blocks here. So the first chapter is the financial management function. So this is the chapter where we are going to discuss about what is financial management, what are the functions that are involved in the financial management, what is the treasurer going to do in an organization, what are the roles and responsibilities in relation to the financial to the manager of finances. So all these aspects regarding the introduction to your paper will be discussed in your financial management function, the first chapter. Then comes the second chapter to 6th chapter, chapter number 2 to chapter number 6. I have already highlighted them using the color coding technique. So the first color, the yellow color, is basically your investment strategies. Investment strategies. Now what do we mean by investment strategies? Is basically nothing but once we raise the money, once we are already having the money that is required, how are we going to utilize that money? Which assets are we going to purchase? Are we going to purchase an asset, or are we going to take the asset on lease? If we are going to purchase the asset, from which supplier are we going to purchase? If we are going to lease the asset, at what rate of interest are we going to take that lease? What is the effective rate versus what is the lease payments, and all that stuff we are going to discuss. Then if multiple projects or multiple options are available in front of us, which option are we going to choose? Which project are we going to choose? Which is the best method for evaluating different projects like NPV, IRR, discounted cash flow techniques, that is payback periods, discounted payback periods. All these different techniques are there. Which technique shall we use, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of all of these techniques? What are the assumptions involved in these techniques? Everything we are going to discuss in this particular first chapter number 2 to chapter number 6. That is investment strategies. Then comes, see, and investment strategies, I can say that this relates to the non-current aspect of your business. Usually they talk about the non-current, that means long-term sources or long-term investments. What are we going to do with our money for the longer period of time? Like once I purchase an asset, it will be there in my company for at least 10 years, 5 years, or whatever may be the period of that asset. So it is a longer term strategy. Then comes your short-term strategy, that is your working capital management. I guess some of you might have already known what working capital is. Working capital is nothing but the funds which we use in the day-to-day activities of our business, right? After raising money from various sources and investing them in the non-current assets, some part of the money is required for our day-to-day business activities, like paying the salaries, paying the rent, electricity bill, water, maintenance, your newspaper, your watchman salary, your labor wages, or else your software maintenance, etc., etc. There are so many regular day-to-day expenses that we need to pay for the company, right? So for that, how much amount are we keeping aside for paying to our suppliers, collecting from our customers? How do we manage our credit period? Everything is discussed in this particular topics. The second block of your syllabus, that is your working capital related block. Then comes miscellaneous topics. 11th chapter talks about your environmental aspects of the business, economic environment. What are the internal factors? What are the external factors? Micro environment, macro environment of the business. Everything we are going to discuss in this particular topic. Then comes financial markets and treasury functions. So what are the different financial markets? Capital markets. In the capital markets, again, we'll have equity market, debt market, and then we'll have money market, then we'll have forex market. So then we'll have what do you call it, commodity market, derivative market. So many different types of markets, and what are the functions or what are the instruments that are traded in that particular markets, what are the advantages and disadvantages, everything we are going to discuss in this particular aspect of chapter number 12, that is financial markets and treasury function. Then comes risk related topics. Here we are going to talk about hedging strategies and arbitrage. So here we are going to discuss about two types of risk. Basically, one is foreign exchange risk and the second one is interest risk. I'll tell you a simple basic understanding of that. Foreign exchange risk means that basically when you are dealing with another currency, like you are exporting to another country or importing goods from another country, and the invoicing is done in the other currency. So in that case, you are exposed to foreign exchange fluctuation risk. Even to make it even more simple for you guys, when you are paying your ACCA membership fee or whenever you are booking your ACCA examinations, you are going to pay in pounds, right? So you always ask me, sir, what is the rupee rate? What is the pound rupee conversion rate today? So when it is low, you actually get benefited, right? So you always consider what is the conversion rate today. So 1 pound is 95 rupees or 1 pound is 88 rupees. So when it is lowest, you will pay less amount of rupees to book your examination. So it means that you are basically trying to hedge your, not hedge your risk here. What you are trying to do is you are trying to reduce your cost as much as possible when the foreign exchange rate is fluctuating. So how do businesses deal with that foreign exchange? What are the various kinds of hedging strategies that they follow? Like forwards, futures, money market hedging, then options, all this stuff we'll discuss in that particular topic. Then comes your sources of funds related topics. Sources of funds, basically from where are we going to raise the money. Then cost of capital. Once we raise the money, what is the cost that we need to incur? Capital structure, how much debt versus how much equity should be there in our organization. Then comes dividend policy. These are all related to sources of finance. In another language, from where are we going to raise the money? What are we going to give them in return? Then comes your last two chapters. One is financial ratios. So this is nothing much which we have already done in your F2, F3, F5, F7, F8. In all the papers, financial ratios is a common topic for all the papers in ACCA. Then comes your chapter number 20, which is one of the most important chapters of your syllabus. That is business valuation. When we are talking about valuing a business, like today we are having so many mergers and acquisitions happening, like Facebook acquired WhatsApp, Microsoft acquired Nokia. There are so many acquisitions that are happening in the market. So when these acquisitions are happening, how do they determine the value of another company? Suppose I want to purchase your company, how do I determine the value of your company? So what are the different strategies that we can use? The cash flow technique we can use, the profit based multiples we can use, market capitalization, that is just share price in the open market, I can use it. or I can use predicted profits of the future and then discount them using a whatever maybe the rate that is applicable. There are so many techniques that I can use to value your business as a whole. So how do I do business valuation? And then there is a small topic related to the market efficiencies, efficient market, inefficient market, semi-efficient market. We are going to discuss about these stuff at the last one, right? So we have this particular blocks that we can, as I told you. So first block is relating to investment, second block is relating to working capital, third block risk, fourth block is sources of finance, fifth block is basically your miscellaneous topics, that is 11, 12, then 19, 20. So these are the miscellaneous blocks. I told 6 blocks, okay, 5 blocks. That's more than enough. I wanted to put foreign exchange as a separate block actually because it is a very lengthy chapter and it's very huge. I would like to keep it as a separate block, but then ultimately it's the part of your syllabus. So whether it is 5 blocks or 6 blocks, we have to complete that aspect, right? Now, I hope that you guys got an overall understanding about the subject, overall what do you call it, introduction about the paper. So we have a paper structure that is decided, that is discussed. Then we discussed about the index and we discussed about each and every chapter and we discussed what is the aspects that we are going to learn in that particular topics. So now, to be very honest with you guys, what we did here is that basically we got an overall overview about what we are going to do in that particular financial management classes, right?